Hello everyone, Anton Magdadaro here. And for today's content or video, we're gonna do a reaction video on a movie that I watched, which was Split. So, I'll tell you a background on what is Split all about, what's the movie all about. So, Split was initially released September 26, 2016. So, actually, a really old movie. So, I'll talk about what Split all about. So, there's this man named Kevin who has a dissociative identity disorder, which has 23 personal identities or 23 alter egos. So the movie starts with these teenage girls having a birthday party, and then after the party, they were gonna go home, but instead, Kevin comes out of nowhere as a kidnapper and kidnaps three teenage girls, leading him to his basement. I think it's not his actual basement. I think it was in a zoo or something. He just used the below maintenance of that zoo as his holding ground for the three teenage girls. So in the movie, you could see his psychological disorders and that was happening because again he has 23 personal identities which each has like a disorder. And yeah, he was also going to therapy, or rather, there was this one old lady who found out that it was not actually who he was. Like, he had another identity. So what the lady tried to do, what the old lady tried to do was to release who he was really, like in reality who he was. So meaning the lady's job was to become a therapist. By the end of the movie, Kevin actually has a 24 or has one more personal identity, which is his 24th alter ego, which is one of the highest of Kevin's personal identity, meaning the 24th was actually the beast of Kevin. So the Beast of Kevin is the one of the most scariest personal identity because he's unstoppable when he's at his inner beast. He could rage mode. He could take bullets. He's like vulnerable. Like, he cannot be beat. So yeah, Kevin actually released his 24 personal identity alter ego. He start he started killing the old lady, then the two girls who he kidnapped, and the one teenage girl actually survived, which is who I think is the other main character, which is Casey. So Casey sees this writing by the old lady. She kept reading it, and then it unfortunately it worked. Unfortunately, it didn't. And how did this movie end? So the teenage girl, or rather, the Beast of Kevin. Sorry, the Beast of Kevin. He stopped without attacking the girl, which is Casey. So Casey, at the end, actually moved her clothes, like she was on I think like a top or something. Kevin saw her marks in her body, which ultimately stopped, and he keeps on saying, "Rejoice, and you are already free." So after that, that's when Kevin unfortunately like walked away and leaving the girl wounded, injured, everything, and how it actually end. So let's go to the technical approach. So technical approach, it's what I actually expected for mostly all movies. So the camera angles, it's already there, most common to all movies. But what's actually impressive in the technical approach of the movie was the POV. There was a lot of POVs. The POVs were on, I think, different people. Like, you're gonna pass by the main characters, like the old lady. You could pass by Kevin. You could pass by the teenage girl, and sometimes it also focused on the main character, so you could see their POV, which is also nice. So Let's go to the psychological criticism because of course there were a lot of psychology that happened in the movie Split. So there were also disorders and therapy that happened during the movie, such as psychological disorders, dissociative identity disorder, cognitive behavioral therapy, post-traumatic stress disorder, exposure therapy, dissociative amnesia, psychotherapy, antisocial personality disorder, repression. Uh, it also talks about the if you know the Maslow's hierarchy of needs or safety. Uh, talks about stress, amygdala. So honestly, this movie is mostly about disorders and therapy. So you could so for reading response, so main character really gave emphasis on his role. Uh, he really talked about the disorders. He really showed on what disorders he have. So it was interesting. And I never expected the deaths. Honestly, I expect the deaths to be shown, but I never expect the deaths um to happen actually. Because again, Kevin is he looks like a nice guy. In one of his disorders, which is I think Hedwig is the most funniest disorder that he, or rather, the personal identity that he had. So Hedwig was kind of my favorite personal identity, and I never expected that that's because it didn't show there. It just shown that Kevin actually killed the two teenage girls, but it only showed where Kevin uh, killed the old lady. It showed really there. So yeah, I actually never expected that that's to happen. Um, so next one, it wasn't that horror until the end. So again, I said that the movie started as an explanation. I think it was just showing on Kevin on what was he dealing and what was his problem. Because again, he has this kind of disorder and therapy, and you could see different personal identities happening to Kevin. So it's also started as an explanation what is happening. So again, the movie was basically most on explanation. Only the end was really a thriller action. So yeah, honestly, movie started explanation in order for you to understand what was happening. And honestly, those are the two approaches that I can actually give. And right now, that's it for the approaches. And for me to rate this movie, probably an 8 out of 10 because again, movie was really great, especially the ending, which was nice, which is really the excitement was there. I really felt everything during the end. And comments about the movie to improve, maybe a little bit of action in the first and half of the movie because because it was again fully explanation, fully a talk. You see always conversations of Kevin to his old lady and Kevin to his victims. So that is it for my reaction video. I did I think I did a lot of explanation here. Hopefully you enjoyed it and hopefully you'll have a good day.